Good morning, students. Our second part of the structure of oceanic floor is the mountain range and the plateaus. The hills and mountain found on the ocean beds is called as the submerged hills and mountain. That means the hills and mountain found on the ocean beds. This is also called as the submerged hill and mountain. These hills are hundred of kilometer wide and thousand of kilometer long. That means this hills is what is the wide of these hills? The hills are hundred of kilometer wide and thousand of kilometer long. Peak of some of the submerged hills comes above sea level. They are visible to as marine islands. That means these are visible for the marine islands. Iceland is the Atlantic Ocean. Andaman and Nicobar Island is the Bay of Bengal are the example. That means they are visible in marine islands. Iceland in the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean, Andaman and Nicobar Island in the Bay of Bengal are example. Here given the some example. That means the Iceland in the Atlantic Ocean and Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal. This is the example of the mountain range and mountain range. The summits of some marine islands are flat and extensive. They are called as oceanic or the submarine plateaus. For instance, Caucasus plateaus in India in ocean. That means here given some example. Second type is the marine deeps and the marine trenches. First I will read. On these ocean beds there are some landforms which are deep, narrow and steep. They are called as the marine deep or trenches. Generally the shallower ones are called as the marine deep, while the deeper ones and extending for the larger distance are called the trenches. The trenches are the 1,000 meter deep from the sea level. The Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean is the deepest trench in the world. It is deep is around 11,034 meters. The mid-ocean submerged hills and marine trenches are geologically the most active area of the ocean beds in the world. There are many active volcanoes here. This area is also earthquake prone area. Earthquake and volcanoes eruption occurring in the ocean beds give rise to the tsunamis in the nearby coastal area. That means second is the marine deeps and the marine trenches. On the ocean beds there are some landforms which are deep. That's mean in the oceans where there are some landforms which are the deep, narrow and steep. That means in the marine landforms some are the deep, narrow and steep. There is called as a marine deep or the trenches, and this is also known as the, that means oceanic bed. There are some landforms are the deep, narrow and steep, and this is also called as the marine deeps or the trenches. Generally the shallower ones are called the marine deep, and that means the generally shallower ones is also called as the marine deep, while the deeper ones and extending for longer distance are called the trenches. That means generally on the oceans where there are some landform which is deep, narrow and steep. There some landforms are the deep, narrow and steep. This is called as the marine deep or trenches. Generally the shallower ones is also called as the marine deep, whilst the deeper ones and extending for longer distance is called as a trenches. That means which are the deeps which are deeper ones and extending for a longer distance is called as the trenches. The trenches are thousands of meters deep from the sea level. That means these trenches are the 1,000 meter from the sea level. The Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean is the deepest trench in the world. That means the Mariana Trench is the in the Pacific Ocean. These are the deepest trench in the world, it is depth around the 11,034 meters. That means this depth is around the 11,034 meter. The mid-ocean submerged hills and marine trenches are the the most active area in ocean bed in the world. That means in the mid-ocean submerged hills, marine trenches are the most active area of the ocean bed in the world. There are many active volcanic here. That means in this place or at this place many active volcanoes here. This area are also earthquake prone area, and this is also known as the earthquake prone areas. Earthquake and the volcanic eruption occurs in the ocean bed. That means earthquake and volcanic eruption occurring in the ocean beds give rise to tsunami in the nearby coastal area. This is responsible for the tsunamis in the nearby coastal areas. Next point is the marine deposition. The marine beds are deep part of the world is respective regions. That means in the some part of the marine beds are the deep part in the world. Hence various deposition are found in this part. That means there are various deposition are found of this area. These deposit are follows: the pebbles, clay, soil, etc. brought by the rivers, glaciers, etc. from the continents. That means the pebbles, clay, soils, etc. brought by the rivers, glaciers, etc. from this continent. The deposition occurs mainly on the continental shelf. This is called a marine deposit. That means the deposition occurs mainly on the continental shelf. That means this deposition takes place in the continental shelf, and these are called marine deposit. And this is also known as the marine deposit. That means this which deposition takes place in the continental shelf. This is called as the marine deposit. Lava and ash eruption out of volcanic eruption is also found here. That means lava and ash also found in this volcanic eruption is also found at that place. Fine soil particles are deposited on the large scale. That means the soil particles and the deposited on the large scale. Remains of the marine plants and the animals are mixed in this deposit. The mixture of made up the fine particles and lies in the form of the fine clay. This is around 30% of the deposit. This is called as the marine oasis. The understand the form of the marine life in the ocean and the availability of the minerals on the ocean beds. These deposit are very important. Sedimentary rocks are formed due to the depositing of the layer over the layer of the sediments and the pressure of the sea water. That means here the given that means the lava and ash eruption of the volcanic eruption are also found here. That means the fine soil particles also deposited on the large scale. That means in the lava and ash eruption out of the volcanic eruption. At that time of the eruption, the lava and the ash is coming on this land, and remaining the marine plants and animals are the mixed in this deposit. That means in the lava and ash there are marine plants and animals are mixed in this deposit. The mixture is made up of the fine particle and lies in the form of the fine clay. That means this particle the mixed in this particle and lies from of the fine clay. That means they converted into the fine clay. This is around 30% of deposit, and this is the how many percent of this deposit? The 30% of the deposit there is called as a marine oasis, and this is also known as the particles is deposited in 30%, and this is known as the marine oasis. It is understand the form of the marine life, the oceans, and the ability of the minerals on the ocean bed. These deposited are very important. That means this deposition is the so important for this form of the marine lives of the oceans. The sediments rocks are formed due to the deposition of layer over layer of the sediments and the pressure of the seawater. That means the sediment rocks are found in this process. Some human induced material is also found here. This include sewage, solid waste, radioactive material, waste chemical, plastic, etc. This waste flow hazardous to the hydrosphere. This material is extremely harmful to the marine life and it is environment. Though the polluting components are less, their noises value is more. That means beside the some human induced material as like the sewage, solid waste, radioactive material, waste chemicals, plastics, and these waste proves hazardous to the hydrosphere and these material are extremely harmful for the marine life. That means these material are harmful for the marine life. Which material? That means the sewage, solid waste, radioactive material, waste chemicals. These are the harmful for the marine lives and it is environment through the polluting components are less there and noises value is more. That means there are in there the polluting components are less and the noises value is more in this place. Here given the always remember, that means sea level. Elevation or the depth of any place measured from the sea level. The average of the highest high tide and the lowest low tide is considered as the sea level. That means at that time we are consider or measuring the sea level. At that time the highest high tide and lowest low tide is measured for this means sea level. This average is taken to zero altitude or the depth are measured and shown in positive or negative value. That means average taken to zero altitude. Average takes place in the zero altitude and depth measured from shown is the positive or negative value. For example, Mount Everest in 8,848 meters high and Mariana Trench is 11,034 meters. For survey purpose in India, the highest sea level in Chennai is considered to zero and the elevations of the place in the India is measured with the reference to this. Give to try. From the map of this ocean floor, identify the oceans. Can you identify the name of the submerged landform shown in the diagram? Which region would be ideal for the fishing and why? This question you search in your internet and write this in your notebook. Then always remember deposition many material coming from land and keep occurring in the sea and oceans. That means some materials in the land they coming and the mixed with the sea and the oceans. This is in the form of the natural deposition and sediment. That means this is form of this is the deposition and sediment. Man disposes unwanted material in sea. This poses a hazard to ocean bed and this seawater also is harmful to marine life. We must keep in mind that the biodiversity found sea and ocean is higher than on the land. That means also this material is harmful for this marine life. We must keep in mind the biodiversity found in sea and ocean is higher on the land. Here given a diagram. Use your brain power and do this activity.